Hello my friends. We're out here on the porch of Walter today. It's some miserable weather. Today I'm going to share a story with you that I wrote some 10 years ago, shortly after I retired from Norfolk Southern Railroad. This story is about one of my many bizarre situations that occurred to me during my career. When a man is working as a railroader, he faces many situations that can be life-threatening. Truly, the places he has to work can be and often are hazardous to his well-being, and situations sometimes arise where the way he deals with it can mean the difference between life and death. The major railroads all know that and constantly stress personal safety in order to minimize the risk. A carman's job in particular poses many risks. Hopefully, if he follows the rules of safety and plain common sense, he stands a good chance of making it through a long career. We're not going to sit out here too long. I just need enough footage to have something to share with the story I'm telling. But sometimes unexpected and unanticipated situations occur. How a man handles himself during those situations can make all the difference. I truly believe someone upstairs watched out for me during those times. My story today is entitled, "The Train Yard is a Dangerous Place." Once when I was working a second shift air job out of 8-speaker, which is the middle part of the outbound train yard at Emmons, Georgia, something unexpected happened to me, totally out of the blue. But after that night, I was always on the alert for it. I had to go work my part of a train, up to 5-speaker and back, so I strapped on my tool belt and started out. It wasn't dark yet, and I anticipated I would be back before dark, so I very unwisely opted not to wear my headlight. When you work in an air job, you are alone out there in the train yard, a considerable distance from anyone else. But after working many trains, you have a tendency to let your guard down and become complacent. And I learned that night that a train yard is no place to let your guard down. I worked my way northward, and sure enough, as my bad luck would have it, when I got near a 6-speaker, I found a rail car with a broken air hose, and I replaced it. Within a couple of car lengths, I found another car with a broken air hose, and in due time had it repaired as well. Considerable time had passed, and dark was right on top of me. The car foreman's voice was booming out of the next speaker I passed, wanting to know what my status was, and I barked back at him. If he thought he could fix them any faster, he was welcome to come out there and help me. I worked on up to 5-speaker, where I found a few rocks on top of the couplers between two cars, and I knew the man working from the north end had already been there and was gone back north. I promptly hopped over the couplers, lined in the air valve and from the north end. I stood there a few minutes smoking a cigarette and wishing I had brought my headlight. I began the long walk back down the other side of the train, as fast as pace as I could due to the now almost total darkness. When I got back to 8-speaker, my eyes were well adjusted to the dark and I could see fairly well, due to a not too distant overhead yard light. I took down the yard air and began hopping across several cuts of cars to get back over to the road next to the main line, thinking I was glad to finally be done. When you're crossing trains like that, it doesn't take long to step from between the cars, cross the short distance to the next set of couplers you have to get across. I had one more cut of cars to get across, was stepping out from between two boxcars. Something moving in my peripheral vision to my right startled me, and I instinctively dodged the movement by falling to my left side. As I moved away, I felt a gush of wind on my face from something whooshing past my head. A man had been laying in wait for me as he heard me coming. He had tried to kill me with a piece of 2x4 lumber, by swinging it at me like a baseball player trying to hit a home run. The board came so close to me, I think he himself thought he had hit me. How that board missed me, I will never know. but it never touched me. As I fell to the rocks, I was pulling out my 12-inch aluminum pipe wrench. It all happened so fast that I didn't even have time to focus my eyes on what was there. He was raising the board to swing down on me again, but then I was blindly swinging my wrench at him, even though I wasn't completely back on my feet. There I was, face to face with him, and now he no longer had the drop on me. I was now armed, and he backed down like a coward he really was. He wisely lowered his piece of lumber. He knew I was about to brain him. I was telling him in no polite terms just what I thought of him. And I'm sure I made reference to his mother in the process. I most definitely would have killed him at that point had he not lowered his weapon. He mumbled some lame excuse and turned and fled across track 1 and went up in the trees and bushes immediately behind my shackety. As I stood there trying to calm my nerves a bit, I pondered the situation as it now was. I couldn't go in the shack and park my behind in the chair for fear that I might doze off, and I certainly couldn't do that with a potential assassin lurking around. I stood there a moment or two watching the area where I thought the man now lurked. I saw a light coming north between track 1 and track 2, so I waited until whoever it was got to my location. He was a railroad policeman that I knew only slightly. I told him what happened, something in the order of, "There's a blankety blankety blank up there in the bushes." He tried to hit me with a blankety blank board. As the policeman proceeded to the area where I thought he was, I retrieved my headlight and accompanied him to the spot. I stood back a bit, shining my light in the bushes. The railroad policeman held his trusty 6-shooter up and aimed it up there, shined his flashlight down the top of his barrel. I was not sure if he could see anyone, and I couldn't see anyone at all. The policeman said, "Come out of there right now." I was standing there thinking that if the guy was gone now, then nobody would ever believe me. To my amazement, within a few seconds, 3 men emerged from the bushes, one of whom was the coward who minutes earlier had tried to end my life. Soon another policeman joined us, and the 3 were interviewed and had their identification checked. They were escorted to the gate, where they were told never to come back. I asked why they weren't arrested, and the policeman said we couldn't make a case against them. Why they weren't at least detained for questioning I will never know, but I'll bet dollars to donuts they all had criminal records. I worked many more years from the railroad before having to take a retirement due to having become disabled to an injury that occurred to me at, of all places, my home. I came in contact with many strangers over the years, but never again did I turn my back on anyone who approached me. This world is full of evil people now that, if anything, is worse than ever before. My advice to anyone, particularly when he is alone, is to trust absolutely no one, any farther than he can throw them, and to be careful out there, because the train yard is a dangerous place. Thanks for listening, my friends.